Welcome everybody back to Just Plain Crazy. I am Brendan and we are actually standing here at Blue Gray Field in Gettysburg. It is their electric flying event. Check this out, what a beautiful location. This is going to be a gorgeous weekend here at this event. We are actually surrounded by the battlefields of Gettysburg. And we're going to get into unboxing the Eflite Viper 90 mil. Now, the FedEx guy dropped this thing off just in time on Friday before we left for this event. So we're going to do the unboxing right here because I ordered this thing way back at Jet Jam 2021 and I've been dying to get my hands on this thing and it is finally time. Let's get to it. So what do you say we check out some of the cool features on this 90 mil Eflite Viper? Starting up here at the nose, I like the detachable nose cone for those not so fresh landings. When you go ahead and store this thing trailer at home, a lot of guys like to take that off, which is nice as well. So that's a neat little feature there. Especially like how they put the carbon rods on the inside to help support the whole nose structure, especially supporting that front nose landing gear. We have functional air inlet ducts right there to help for cooling. And if you guys haven't caught it on yours yet, that bottom vent coming into there is literally blocked off pretty much by all of that Velcro. So what I did is I cut the Velcro out to allow those air ducts to open up and shoot some more air going back through this plane. There is plenty of room in here for any size battery you can really want to put in there. I am running the 6S 5300 SMC packs, really true to their 40C rating in this jet. But the nice part is, guys, this is a 5300 pack at under 700 grams, 693, I believe, to be exact. So I'm going to get tons of performance and I'm not going to be wasting it in energy management trying to keep a heavy battery in the air. So learning from some of their past E-Flite issues, with the cracking in the wings right here, so we have removable wing sections, which is nice, but they have nice solid plastic blocks there, as well as nice plastic blocks on the intake duct as well. So these ends are removable, the winglets, and then we also have LED lights all over the place in this jet. Assembly was super simple with just 5 screws here in the tail, and as we flip this thing over, you can see the nice trailing link gear that they offer on both sides. You can see how I mark my CG points, which was recommended to be 10 millimeters behind those plastic blocks. So right about there, you can see 2 little screws attached to each side. Our flaps are no longer just foamy flaps on this 90 mil. They are very robustly hinged. Pocketed hinges literally on everything. Those lower, I don't know, vortice fence, I don't know what those things are called, those fins underneath, those things are removable. We have nice, they're on the cheaper end ball links, but they work really well on stuff like this. And they kept the 70 mil Eflite Viper splinter scheme on the bottom, but the top of it gives it that whole new look. And it's distinguishable in the air, which is really nice. But again, you know, when we look at that nose gear, it has that FMS Bayhawk feel to it that we all love, and the 09 signification on there tells us that it's a 90 mil. So you can see right here at my marks, that's where I balance out, and that's where I'm going to be running my 5300 pack. So I think it's about time, guys. What do you say we go ahead and we get Burt Reynolds here up into the air? Now, a couple things to note setting this thing up. CG throws, all very easy. The reverse thrust on this thing, still haven't gotten the knack of that yet, so we're still work in progress on that. I think it's a neat feature, but can also get you in a lot of trouble fairly quick. I saw these at EDF Jet Jam, and I think they had some issues with them there with the reverse thrust causing flight issues. But again, it's how you set it up, switch familiarity, things like that. So making sure things are just set up the right way. But with that being said, install was super easy. Getting it set up and configured was super easy. Took just a few minutes, but now it's time to go have some fun with this baby. Let's do it. All right, guys, here we go. Maiden of the 90 mil Eflite Viper. Let's get this thing taxied out. We're gonna take off on low rates and no flaps. Alright guys, we are set on a 4-minute timer. We'll check the cells on this thing. My goal, upon landing, we'll check the cells. My goal with this thing is to get up, get a couple quick trim passes, and then start turning and burning, seeing what we can do with it. So, going up. Gets off the ground quick, very grass capable. Trim with that AS3X is locked in right out of the gate. No issues with trim here. We're just putzing half throttle. Half throttle's locked in nice and level. See how it acts with half flaps. Get it back into pattern here. So that's half flaps. Tends to climb on you a little bit, so I'll have to put in some down mix. That's full flaps. Just putzing by. All right, so now that we know what to expect, let's hit the flaps, bring this thing down over runway, just putz it slow speed. Very nice slow speed characteristics. So let's go ahead and see what we get here with full speed. Nice whistle to it. Big loop. Come up, Cuban. That was out of the throttle. Again, back out of the throttle. Come up over the top. Snap. See how we do with an outside loop. Bring her over, about 3/4 power. Inverted, need a good bit. Outside loop into a roll, we'll come back across, some power management here. Nice glide rate. I think maybe the tail hangs just a little bit. I think we can get that CG changed. Let's throw the flaps on here. Floats like a baby, go up. Kick it over. So there's our 4 minutes. Let's take it one run for vertical. Flaps out. That's vertical, tail slide. Landing. Right to left. Put the gear down, take off flaps, guys. full flaps. Put the nose down, let it bleed off the speed, line up with the runway. Just glides in. Look at that. Like a baby. Greasy like butter. It's gentle. Gentle like a baby. Nice plane. We're gonna get a couple more flights on this, guys. Start playing with knife edge. See how that feels. Let's go ahead and check the cells after about 4.5 minutes and see what we got left. All right, guys, let's go ahead and check the cells. As far as battery temperature on this thing, I mean, that thing's just barely warm. I mean, and that's what I love about these SMC packs. True C ratings. They take whatever it is you're going to put them through as far as abuse. And if we can see that. So we are at 27% there. And again, we had a couple full power runs in there, beat on this thing a little bit. I think I'm just going to change the mix, a little bit of down elevator in with both landing and takeoff flaps. But those were set up right by the book recommendations, so I think they're pretty close. The CG, I think, is pretty close. I may tweak that a little bit, but again, that's where we sit with the 5300 SMC, and if you want to run a 10,000 milliamp pack in there, you probably can. So, as far as the way this thing flies, flight characteristic-wise, I think it's very, very close to the 70 mil in feel, even though it's much bigger. So I think they got a winner, guys. All right, guys, and there you have it. That was our maiden build and our unboxing of the Eflite 90 mil Viper. Special thanks to my guest cameraman there, Mr. Ronnie London. Thank you very much. So with that being said, I hope you guys like it. If you want, click down in the link down in the description below to get some more information on this plane and SMC batteries. So with that being said, it's Brendan here, Just Plain Crazy. You guys are just plain crazy for watching. I wish you guys happy flights. Peace out. So I went ahead and I popped this thing out of the cardboard, and we are going to get right into it. I don't expect that the assembly on this thing is going to take real long. So that'll probably be incorporated right into this video as we go. So this package already out of the gate is a dual layer styrofoam. So there's a lot of upgrades to this, and if you guys haven't seen my other video that I did from Jet Jam, it was shot spare of the moment with Ali Machinchi from Horizon Hobby, and he covered a lot of the new aspects of this plane on that video. So the video wasn't it's shot with a cell phone, and I hate doing that. But anyway, so as we look at just the popping out a wing panel, one of the first things we see is we got lights in this version, which is nice. We actually have pocketed hinges in there, and then on the flaps we have some robust hinge plastic assemblies in there, which is a major upgrade. The 70 mil Viper that I absolutely loved had issues cracking the wings in through the wheel wells and the pockets, so we had put carbon rods and glued things in there, but they really beefed up the attachment points with plastic. The quick push lock pins in there, we see there's going to be some carbon rods in there for support. So I really think they did a nice job here with taking a really good 70 millimeter platform and just expanding that. And in case you didn't know, the 07 is for 70 mil Viper, the 09 is for 90 mil Viper. So kind of cool how they did that. But again, wing panels covered up with colored tape. Now they use the same camouflage pattern, this splinter pattern on this plane on the bottom, but on the top it gets some new upgrades as far as colors and design a little bit. So just something to distinguish it that it's not its 70 mil counterpart. Again, the guys that make this packing stuff, boy, do they have quite the task in front of them to make all these pieces fit, but they do a good job. So already the styrofoam is a really smooth finish. I don't feel or see any, you know, wrinkles or divots. It looks like the tail's probably held on with 4 screws. And to this point, it's not a wide elevator, which is nice. Hopefully they're independent all the way up to the receiver, but we'll see how that goes. But again, we actually have pocketed hinges in here. They're not foam hinges. And you guys hear, as we're here at Gettysburg, we're charging batteries in the background. So we had a late night getting here last night after a long day of work, and have to do some charging this morning to get out flying. So it's a perfect time to get this thing unboxed and together. But big control surfaces. That's the first thing that I'm really going to point out here. When we look at the balance tabs on the elevator, usually the counterbalance to prevent flutter, but they're pocketed. The horns are screwed through on the other side for extra, you know, strength to make them more robust. But even on the wing panels, I mean, look how big those ailerons are, and I can't wait to get a hold of the rudder on this thing, simply because this thing is a knife edging animal. And that's a nice part about this stuff. Most of this stuff is made to unbox and get to the field fairly quickly. Here's our rudder. I mean, look at the size of that rudder. That's why we have good rudder authority with this plane. We have a nice plastic block here for attachment points at the bottom, nice and solid. I like all of the ball links for connections, again, screwed and plated on the other side. You know, this is a plane that I might do a refinish on. This may be a good candidate for a custom paint job, because I think we're going to see probably a gazillion of these at the field. And here you can see they made these lower fins, quick disconnects, so they slide in and out with that locking system there, which is really nice. You can take them on and off for transport. Same thing with our winglets out at the sides. Those things can come on and off. Most of the time when I put a plane like this together, I'll just leave it like this and transport it to the field. We have our nose cone and a pack of what looks to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 screws, and they have a nice magnet attaching point to the nose cone, which is nice if you doof it in. You know, the nose pops off instead of breaking things. We have our carbon rods, which looks like one taped inside of another, so we'll have to undo those. Our destructions. Yeah, and look at that awesomeness. Nice, beautiful fuselage. It has the typical FMS Burt Reynolds pilot on the inside there, if you guys see that. I like that they went with a gray on the inside, so maybe it won't blister as bad being black. When we look on the inside of this thing, it looks very clean. Look where the receiver is mounted and fastened in up here. So this is the 637 TA in here. Plenty of battery space for that battery. It's super large on the inside. We have carbon rod, square carbon rod supports going up through the nose, which is really nice. I like these connector locks that I see in the back, so it's a positive lock. You don't have to be taping connectors together. And then again on the bottom, as we look at this, you can see the tracks for our fins to lock into there. And then we have hard plastic attachment points, again with some lights. Nice intake duct in there for cooling. I do notice that the Velcro though seems to be literally covering up, so I don't even know how much air is really going to even get in there through that cooling port. I might cut that Velcro out. If you guys see that, I think I might cut the center of that Velcro out in there to allow that airflow up into that fuselage and into the battery, because otherwise it's just getting stuffed and blocked in there. It's not doing nothing. And then you can see those huge intake ducts, I hope anyway. What? Those huge intake ducts to feed that 90 mil fan on the inside. What do we got here? Looks like we got a capacitor for kickback of our servos and surfaces. Safe select switch in there, so very nice. Lots of cool upgrades on this Viper already. I'm loving it. And the big thing that we all bitched about or complained about, if you will, the landing gear. So this already I could see has some nice trailing link solid aluminum landing gear in there. I hate pigtails, but I guess with a 70 mil you have to shave weight somewhere. So I get it, but we all upgraded that. So I'm glad to see that we got some really nice landing gear on this thing. So anyway, this build looks like it's going to take about 10 minutes tops. So let's get this bench stuff cleaned off a little bit, and we're going to follow this unboxing up right away with the build. So let's get to it. So for assembly, I'm literally not even going to open the book on this thing. I think we're just going to give it a go, and I think we'll show how easy all of the Eflite stuff really does go together. So let's make sure that we have everything in view. Let's go ahead and throw on our magnetic nose cone. That's done. That slides right in there. Let's get our tail set into place. So everything is marked. Obviously these are elevator. All the screws, the 8 screws, all you simply need for this job is a 2mm hex head driver, and these aren't going to be able to stay there. They're going to have to get tucked down into that pocket, which is kind of a bummer, I guess. Well, so if we can avoid pushing them down into that tunnel, I think that would be best, because that's going to be right in the airflow. So if we can roll those backwards like this, that'll be the ideal situation. So our 2 elevators here, let's get those plugged in, black to black. And again, I like the nice safety lock style connectors. And it's actually not black to black, it's black to brown. Get those clicked in. And that just slides in like that. Again, we can tuck those back towards the front. We'll get our rudder black to brown as well. And we will tuck that in. I absolutely loved, guys, the 70mm. This thing was a no-brainer, especially once I saw that Eflite, Ali, and the crew made the necessary upgrades, and they learned from what didn't go right in the 70mm, and they made the changes to this one. This one was an absolute must to pick up. The 70mm Viper, when people ask, hey, what's a good EDF to get started on, that was my first EDF. And although it has its quirks, I would absolutely recommend that plane a million times over to anybody that is interested in getting started into EDFs. And for this being a 90mm, it literally flies like a 64, but it's gentle, it's docile, it doesn't need to be flown at 1,000,000 miles an hour. So all we're doing is sliding in these screws, tightening everything up together. And when I tighten stuff, I like to tighten, so I'll tighten that back one on this side. I know you guys can't see it. And then we'll do a big X, tighten that one. Come up here and tighten that one. Tighten this one, and then come back. So that way everything's drawn down nice and evenly on there. All right, so awesome there. Let's get this thing rolled over and get the wings on. All right, so we're gonna unwrap the tape now on our carbon rods, which is, you know, like I said, the people that box this stuff, it's pretty neat how they think of doing stuff like this, but saves on space. So we're just going to insert those carbon rods. Again, didn't look at the directions at all, guys. And the nice part is here is we're going to be able to plug these wings and the quick connectors right in. And you can see one of the nice things they did with the wheels is it's an open pocket, so you can slide them in like that. And let's go ahead and put on our wingtips. and these just lock on. And I like how the light lenses are there too, so that's just sliding right over. That was pretty easy. So we'll slide this one into place. Fit is snug, but not overbearing. So I hope you guys are having a great weekend here flying, wherever it is that you are. As I said, we're down at the battlefields here at Gettysburg. This is Blue Gray Field. This is their annual electric event. They do a memorial chili fly-in here. They have one earlier in the year, a Warbird, I believe it was, event. And then they do this electric one, but the chili one in, I think it's October. That one is absolutely awesome. I love coming to that. It's a nice time of year. It's cool at night, so you get lots of night flying in, no bugs. And then obviously it's fall, so it's beautiful outside, temperature-wise. Again, clicks right in, no issues. So that front plastic tidbit you have to give a little love to in order to get it into place, but otherwise, I mean, it's not like it's a bad fit. So a lot of guys are running 5,000s in these already. That's what Ali was running in his, and with throttle control was easily 5 minutes. You could go more, so it depends on your flying style, or you can be 4 minutes and do less. But I think the secret sauce here, guys, is I'm running an SMC 5300 6S pack in this, and those SMCs are going to provide all the power I need at a true C rating, or one of the truest C ratings in the industry, but they're lighter than everyone else, and they tout the lowest resistance to weight in that pack. So let's get on our, I don't know why it slips my mind, slide these things on. And remember, the graphics are going to go out, so you got to make sure that you put these on the right way, so the bigger portion goes forward.
Are you able to keep an eye on her?
Yep.
She wanted out?
Yep, can do. Can do. All right, guys. And there you have it, the assembly of the 90 mil Viper. What an absolute gorgeous bird. I love it. Let's get a battery thrown in this thing and get it bound up.